getting sensory pleasure is not a good enough justification to hurt animals.
Pleasure? No, you should do it for sport. Any form of blood sport is horrific.
Why is fox hunting wrong?
Because
why?
Because chasing an animal through the countryside and then dogs ripping it to shreds for the enjoyment of people is clearly, in my view, wholly immoral.
Why?
Because it's getting fun and sport out of the torture and the pain
and the death of an animal,
of another thing.
And why do we eat meat?
Because we have canines. We've evolved to be omnivores. So we are omnivores. In a biological definition, we are an omnivorous species.
Sure.
So that's the answer to your question.
Okay, let me respond then.
Our whole gut is designed.
Can I just respond to your point?
Our teeth are designed to be omnivores.
So herbivorous
animals. How we've evolved.
So herbivorous animals have canines as well. Hippos have the biggest canines in the world. They're completely. Can I finish my point?
Yeah, we could evolve to not be omnivores there.
So let me finish my point. Herbivorous animals have canines as well. Hippos have the biggest canines in the world. And I would say just because yes they do. Yes they do. Let me finish my point. Let me finish my point.
By pointedness.
Let me finish.
Length.
What are you talking about?
Well, no herbivore has a long canine. That is the definition of a canine by its length.
What?
What
about a gorilla? What about a gorilla?
Or an elephant that has a massive tooth.
Wait, what about a gorilla?
By circumference.
What about a gorilla?
The other apes eat meat.
No, gorillas are herbivorous animals.
Well,
anyway,
chimpanzees certainly eat meat. And they're not
I'm not talking about chimpanzees. I just gave you an example.
Choose one, and I'm choosing another one.
No. I'm saying
chimpanzees aren't alone.
My point is
omnivorous.
Look, my point is just because animals have canines, that doesn't necessarily mean they eat meat. I've given you an example of when that's the case. And I would also say just because we can do something, that doesn't make it moral to do so.
I'm giving you the reason why we evolved to be omnivores. Or the fact.
I know we evolved consuming animals, but that doesn't mean we should do it now when we don't need to.
Do you accept that some people choose to?
That's a fact. That's a fact.
Extremist vegan?
Is it extreme not to kill animals?
No. Are you happy with? I'm not a religious person, but I'm okay with that person over there being Christian if they keep it to themselves.
Sure. Because
are you okay with that person over there being a meat eater?
When he's Christian, there's no victim. When he hurts animals, there's a victim.
You're not okay with other people eating meat?
It's immoral.
That's why I'm trying to stand.
But it doesn't make him a bad person.
You're a proselytizing vegan that wants to stop other people eating meat.
Because
I'm interested in how far you'd go on that.
I'm not hurt. I'm peaceful.
You go and screech in restaurants.
No, I have
pour red paint over butchers.
No, I have discussions with people. But the comparison you used.
So you only go
let me finish my point, because you said he's a Christian, but whether he believes in a God in the sky, there's no victim to that choice. Not necessarily. When I
can be.
Sure, but not necessarily. Not necessarily.
Debatable with some religions.
But not necessarily. If I say I believe in God now, I'm not necessarily.
There's a religion that suppresses women.
Yes.
You're okay with them being that religion?
No. I'm saying when there's a victim, it's wrong. Whether it's religion or not. When there's a victim, it's wrong.
Then by definition, some religions.
Yes. That's why I said not necessarily. So I agree with you there.
I'm okay with anyone choosing to be a vegan. Any sentient adult human being choosing to be a vegan. I have no problem. Some people might have a problem with it, but I don't. But I was trying to establish the militancy of your veganism and how far you go in the cause of veganism.
So I just want to
talk about it. In lots of veins, there is from what I can perceive, an ever-increasing militant arm of veganism. You must be aware of that.
In what way is it?
Well, the sorts that charge into restaurants and start screeching in restaurants, or pour blood over a butcher's window, probably not blood, red paint over a butcher's window. There is an increasingly loud militant arm of veganism. You're not part of that.
No, I haven't done that. I haven't thrown blood on anyone or any building. But I would say what's happening to the animals, the 57 billion land animals that we're torturing and killing each year, the male chicks. Yes. Okay, let me give you some examples. The male. Let me give you. Can I finish? Can I finish?
And they multiply.
No, because we stopped breeding them.
So should we maintain all these species though? Because surely they're part of the biodiversity that we need to maintain.
You think the 57 billion land animals growing up in factories are part of the diversity?
No, but will a Frisian cow or any breed or species of animal that we currently breed for food, they are part of the biodiversity, aren't they?
No, because they're not. No, because the animals. Can I finish? You're not really letting me finish my points. I'm letting you talk. So how about you let me talk?
I'm letting you talk as well.
Just don't interrupt me when I'm talking to you.
Yes, sir.
So the animals that we're breeding, they didn't look like this thousands of years ago with the massive udders. They produce so much milk. The chickens with the huge breasts, they've like tripled in size.
My example of Frisian cows have been around for
Yeah, and the animals in the wild, they were doing just fine before we started breeding them. You leave them be. Animal agriculture is terrible for the environment. It's the leading cause of species extinction, oceanic dead zones. 97% of the rainforest is destroyed by animal agriculture.
What about almond harvesting and soy?
Animal agriculture.
And soy.
Sure, but the majority of soy goes to feeding animals.
Deforestation is not happening mainly for animals.
Absolutely, it is.
Really? So it's not things like palm oil.
That's bad as well.
That's a big part of it.
Yeah, but it's not as big as animal.
cows.
No, it's not.
Soy is a massive part of it.
Yes, and the majority of soy goes to feeding animals. We destroy the rainforest to make space.
I bet you drink soy milk, don't you?
Yes, but the majority goes to feeding animals.
There was a bit of a jokey dig there.
No, but I'm
Are you
not.
a soy boy by any chance?
Absolutely.
I've been to Thailand and I love the fact that Thais eat insects. I think insects are the future source of protein.
Plants are the
It's
future.
much friendlier on the environment to grow insects because per volume of protein it's much easier to get that from insects. But I'm guessing you would apply your same principles to eating insects that you would to eating Labradors. I think that's ridiculous.
What's ridiculous about
It's clearly a locust.
I'm not saying.
The locust doesn't have the same level of sentience as a dog.
I never said they did. I never said they did.
Applying your same rules.
They still have a degree of sentience.
There's all manner of plants that if you prod them, they move away.
Venus flytrap?
Yes.
I was going to say that demonstrates how plants can move on.
Sure, they can react to stimuli, but there's a difference between.
Should you stop them
Can I
eating
finish?
meat?
Sorry, can I finish?
We should be dropping in corn into Venus flytrap.
Can I finish my point? So there's a
That
difference.
is a relevant question.
Okay, I'll answer that in a minute. Sure.
Feeding Venus flytraps with corn.
Let me answer
because they're killing insects.
What was the point you just made?
Like my point was, I was just buttressing what my friend Steve said, but I remember speaking either to you or one of your friends, and I said, is there a moral difference between a baby and a chicken, and which one would you say had the higher degree of sentience and therefore the higher degree of value? And the person said the chicken, because he said the baby will grow up to be a monster who will destroy the planet. And I asked lots of your people that.
That's the
and I
militant
also
end of
said,
veganism,
I tell you what,
But they're not hurting babies.
out of 7 of 10 people I asked said that Kentucky was worse than the Holocaust.
No.
Yeah,
Do you think that?
100%.
Look,
Do you
KFC
think
is worse than
is
Hitler's
worse than the Holocaust?
It doesn't even make your question doesn't even make sense. Why are you just choosing KFC?
No, it gets even worse. Put them all together. Burger King,
look.
McDonald's. Do you think what's going on in those places is worse than what happened in the Second World War? Just say yes or no.
Is that a no? You shook your head.
I'm saying I don't need to
no,
value.
I'm not answering your
I don't value a chicken to the same way I value you. Okay, so I don't need to believe that the chicken's life is more important than you or a baby in order not to hurt the chicken. I just need to believe that chicken's life is
you
worse.
agree
Let me
a
finish.
baby's is
Let me
higher?
finish.
Is that what you're saying?
Yeah. So I don't need to. I just need to value that chicken's life more than my taste buds.
But I think you're bright enough to know that what you're hinting at there is quite an unsavoury message. To say that the Holocaust is as bad
When have I
as
said?
KFC.
When have I said that?
7 of the 10.
I never
you disagree with it.
I just said it's
You
not.
refuse to answer the
What would happen to pigs and cows as a species? What would happen?
Sure. So as gradually as veganism rises, the number of animals we breed would gradually go down. Until,
Genocide, then, that is. It is. You know, if you're going to get rid of them, keep a few
We just let them die naturally.
No, we're not breeding them.
Yeah, but the ones that are here already,
How can it be genocide when there's no
Cows live
killing?
quite a
There's
long
no
time.
killing involved.
how are they all going to die? Naturally, that's my question.
They're gonna. I'm saying it's not going to be an overnight. It's not going to be an overnight switch to veganism. I'm saying gradually veganism increases, which it's doing, and gradually the number of animals that we breed goes down. People are still eating meat, still murdering, killing animals, and then it stops. We
How
stop.
many would you have then? Any?
No, we stop breeding. The
So
factory.
there'd be no Frisian cows or pigs or anything like that.
Only the wild boars, the wild ones, not the
So where
domestic.
would they live?
That's reducing the
Where would they live?
there are wild boars in the world now.
Would they be able to live with normal female pigs and breed?
The same way they are doing now, yes.
But then there'd be lots and lots
No,
unless you
because-
introduce predators. Do you not understand
No.
the food chain?
Look.
Good point.
What? Oh my God.
You know what? It's such a fairy tale thing that you're saying. So you're going to keep the boars in a little cage so they don't breed, or maybe an ethical compound, and the female pigs so they don't actually get in with the boars. Why? Because if they did breed without a predator, you'd have millions and millions and millions of them.
You do have to understand the natural
You
food
really,
chain.
really don't seem to. It's like Disneyland.
Can I respond to you now? Thanks.
With great respect.
Sure. So there's a difference between the animals that we're breeding in these factories and the animals in the wild. So the animals who are in the wild, we're already not affecting them. We're not breeding them. We're leaving them alone. Yeah. And the ones in the factories, these are the ones we stop breeding. There's not going to be a surplus of animals. We stop breeding them and we leave the wild boars boars, wild cows, we leave them alone to continue their life. Where they live, in India.
In England.
I don't know of any wild boars in England, but maybe there are. I don't know.
No, but could you release them into the
No, that's the thing. That's the thing. So my point is, we wouldn't be releasing any animals anywhere.
So they'd be captive.
No. So sorry. So my point is that we stop. No, they're currently slave animals. What I'm saying is, we stop breeding them. No. So I mustn't be being clear. No. So I'm saying we gradually breed less and less. Right. Like if I'm breeding a population of dogs now.
Yeah, I'm with you. But you allow them to still breed.
No.
Well, you give them contraception, deny their original existence.
This isn't an original existence. We've genetically engineered them to be so large. We've genetically engineered them to be so large they can't even support their own weight. Their legs are breaking beneath them.
Cows, is it? The fields are full of.
They become lame. A cow in the wild.
The fields are not full of lame cows.
A cow in the wild. That's because they're killed before the age of 6. The cows in the wild live 15, 20 years. And a dairy cow is lame and killed around 5 or 6 years because she's been impregnated every single year, had her babies taken away from her.
Because I don't.
I think you have a very.
Obviously, we're in the same.
Yeah. But I'm talking about our life. We're not living in caves.
We're trying to establish the boundaries of what you're suggesting.
Yeah, and I've made it clear from the very start that if it's a necessity, it can be justified. Right. It's not a necessity. When you go to McDonald's and buy, when you go to McDonald's and buy a 99p burger, you're not doing that out of necessity.
But you know, I said to one of your chaps, we used to have a small holding. We raised some goats, okay, and one of my daughters taught herself to milk the goat and would put a little bit of goat's milk in our cup of tea. Now, the vegan guy was saying that was so wrong. Right, even though it was the goat was looked after, it was loved, had a very healthy diet, was out there in the sun, and as a byproduct of it feeding its own young, we took some. Do you think that's stealing?
So where did you get the goat from?
We bought it.
Exactly. So you went to a breeder that artificially inseminates these animals, raises.
Well, we don't know that.
Raises.
You don't know that it was.
So was it unethical of me
to buy the product? Yeah. Well, you also impregnated the goat, I'm assuming.
I didn't.
Oh, you can start.
Another goat. Another goat did.
When did I say that? It's called. You need to look up the definition. You need to look up the.
It was a question.
We've been around you types long enough to know how the thing kind of builds.
Yeah, well, I know. I've been around you lot as well to know that you're going to pretend that tree feels pain.
I bet it does if I whacked it with a stick.
Ooh, do it harder.
There's no reason. There's no reason that the tree would evolve to feel pain because they can't escape things that harm them.
I think the statement that no plant species can feel pain.
It's a fact. You will find no botanist that suggests they can feel pain.
None.
There's no brain. There's no central nervous system. There's no pain receptors. And even if you were right, and these plants do feel pain, we're feeding billions of animals each year with plants. There are more plant casualties because you eat animal products. If you care about the plants, you should be vegan.
What do we live on, man?
Yeah, what do you live on?
There's less plant deaths because I'm vegan, if you care about plants.
There's less plant deaths. Well, what are you eating?
Plants.
But there's less plant deaths.
Yes, because the billions of animals we breed, 57 billion land animals a year, are fed with plants and they eat more than us.
My uncle's a farmer, and he has cattle. You know, this is where we have to have the dairy cows for the milk.
Yeah, but we don't need to drink their milk. We could just drink something else.
They've got breeding programs all over the world to try and build the numbers up.
Sure.
So therefore, what they're doing as well, so they're artificially inseminating animals to try and, you know, make sure that they're breeding okay. So what you're saying doesn't stand up, really.
No, so I don't think it's necessarily a good thing to increase the amount of species of animal in the world. So I don't think it's. I don't think. I don't think it's any consolation to the factory farm chicken that there's trillions of them every year. I don't think that's a consolation to the individual suffering they have to endure.
If you noticed, over the last sort of like 10 years, there is a lot of companies, right, that are only now dealing with free range. Like free range pork, free range beef, free range eggs. I mean, I buy a Happy Eggs, so they're coming from a Happy Chicken.
Well, that's what they want you to think.
Well,
so an issue with that.
If you've got chickens running around the field, free range. What's wrong with that?
So a big issue with eggs comes before this process, and it comes with the breeding of them. So when they're breeding the chickens, they only need the hens, the females, because they're the ones that lay the eggs. The males are useless to the egg industry because they don't produce eggs.
But not to the meat industry.
So all the male chicks in the egg industry, they're either ground up alive where they're fully conscious. I can show you on my phone if you want to see it, or they're suffocated in bags. That happens in the UK. It's happening.
Where do we get the chickens we eat from?
They're a different type of chickens, broiler chickens. So we're actually grinding up animals while they're fully conscious, and that's whether it's free range or organic, it doesn't matter. And I'd also say whether it's free range or not, all of the animals in the egg industry, they all end up in a slaughterhouse where they'll have their throats slit for a completely unnecessary reason. We don't need to eat eggs to be healthy.
The world can't sustain veganism, as in where water's privileged, land's privileged. The amount of water and stuff you would need to sustain the world to go vegan, it's not sustainable.
This is the thing.
We're having to get stuff from other countries because we can't sustain it here. So if you go to some parts in India, they're actually killing their own water table to give us tomatoes, to give us bread. So once that water's run out, if we all go vegan, what are we going to do?
So this is the thing, it's actually the complete opposite. It takes 2,500 gallons of water to produce 1 pound of beef, because these animals drink and eat more than we do. So the 57 billion land animals each year, let me finish. So the 57 billion land animals a year that we breed and kill, they're being fed with plants and water and have land use. So we'd actually use less land, far less water, and far less grain and soy if we stopped breeding animals and went vegan.